Hello, today we are going to cover how to make a door sign with different symbols that are preloaded into our program. So we're going to get started. I enlarged my cursor so you can see it moving around. Sometimes I tend to go real fast, so at any time feel free to stop the video, complete the task, and then restart. So this is what our final project should look similar to. So I'm going to go back to my home page. So I'm going to go up to here to the Tinkercad symbol. Click on that. And it should take us back to our home. I'm going to come up here to create. Click on create. Slide down. We're going to do a 3D design. And here we have our work plan. First thing we're going to do, we're going to slide up here. We are going to click on this text and we're going to give it a name. Please give it your name. And I'll type Michael. And I'm going to put today's date, which is July 21st. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to make sure this is on inches because we're going to be talking in inches and the conversion can be challenging. So we're going to come down here into the corner of our page and click on settings. It says units. Mine's already on inches. So you're going to drop that down. You're going to choose inches. I'm going to suggest you make it default so that way it doesn't, you don't have to do that every time you open up this page. So here we are. So here are our basic shapes over here. I'm going to assume you have basic knowledge of Tinkercad. For our door sign, I'm going to pull out a block. I do want to remind you, you can change the colors. It's not going to change the print color, but it makes it easier to work in a lighter color. You can see better. You can see the edges better. You can see the handles. And we are going to click on this corner handle, and we are going to make this first one 5 inches long. We are going to make the second one 3 inches. And we are going to go to the center handle, and we are going to make this 1/8 of an inch, which in decimal is 0.125. And there we have our basic shape of our door sign. I like to come up here where it says radius and round the edges just a little bit. And there we have it. Whenever you're moving your shape around, please use your arrows on your keyboard. It makes it simpler and you will avoid making unnecessary changes. So now the Y, I still have it highlighted. I'm going to come up here to copy. And I'm going to paste. Now I'm going to bring down the item that I just copied and pasted down with my arrow keys. And we're going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to move my base up. So we're going to make this one a little bit smaller by 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to click on this handle, click on the 5, make that 4.875. And I'm going to come over to this side and make that 2.875. And now it's 1/8 of an inch smaller than the shape we have up here. We are going to leave that second shape, the smaller shape, highlighted. You see the little cone there. We are going to raise this off the board. And you just click and drag and you'll get a number over here. And we're going to make it 0.025 and enter. And it's just raised up barely off the board. And we're going to also make it a hole. So the way you do that, you come over here, it says solid or the hole. We're going to make it a hole. Now I'm just going to bring it up here, put it over top of my shape, and I'm going to click and drag over both of them. Click on the align tool, and I'm going to align it on the X and the Y axis, and I'm going to group it together. And now we have our sign that has a little lip on it now. Okay? Make it a little fancier. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put our name up here. So I'm going to pull my text out. I'm going to recommend that you use the font sans. That way you avoid those hanging text. See how they have the hanging parts onto it? Sometimes when they print, they do not print so cleanly. Alright, and then we are going to go to the Z axis, and we're going to change that height to 0.25, quarter of an inch. Come over here to where it says text. I'm going to backspace that out of there, and I'm going to type my name in there. And don't be afraid if it looks so big that it's not going to fit, because we can shrink that down pretty simply. So I have my name, and you can definitely see there's two different ways we can shorten this down, but let's just use our handles. So I'm going to click on that, and we know that this is 3 inches, the inside is 2.85, so let's make it 2.75, 2 3/4, and we figure this is 3 inches. So we don't want to, we're going to have another line and then some images. So let's change it down the y-axis to 0.75, 3/4 of an inch. Now I'm going to slide it over, move it up into the plane, and I see that I've made a miscalculation, which is fine, because this is more than 3 inches, it's 5 inches. So we can make this 4.75. And slide that over. It still looks kind of big. Let's make it 4.5. 4.5. And it looks like it's going to fit on there. I'm going to click and drag over it. I'm going to click on my align tool. We're only going to align on the x-axis because we don't want it centered on the y-axis. I'm looking at it from the top view. I clicked up here for my top view. And I'm going to raise it up just a little bit. And what I am going to do to eliminate any possibility of messing it up, I'm going to group it together, click and drag over it, group it together, and now we have our first section, our first part. I'm going to go get my text again. I'm going to change the height to 1/4 inch, 0.25 on the z-axis. I'm going to change the font to a sans so it doesn't hang over. And I'm going to put 5th grade ELA. Same thing here. Much too long for our piece. So I'm going to change it down to 4.5. And I'm going to change the height. I want to make it a little bit smaller than my name. 0.7. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to fit it up there. I may even make this smaller. Yeah, I'm going to make this smaller both ways. Make it 4 and make it 0.6. I am going to center it by using my align tool. And looks pretty straight. I'm going to click and drag over both pieces and group it. Okay. Now we're talking about those those different pictures we're going to put in. Now this is going to be challenged challenging for some, but I'm going to go to my Google Classroom for today. I'm going to go to 3D STEM, and I posted some simple pictures and stuff. So since I'm doing ELA, I am going to put a book in there. So I'm going to click on this book, and then I'm going to click on it again. I'm going to come over to these ellipses, these 3 dots over here, click on that. I'm going to open a new window. Then I'm going to click on the ellipsis again, there's 3 dots, and I'm going to download. Now I'm going to go back to my design. I'm going to come up here, because this has to be an SVG, and that's why I loaded them up. You can't always just put the JPEGs or the PNGs in there. It's not going to work. So I'm going to go to Import, choose a file. Then I'm just going to go to my downloads. Click on the books clip part, hit open, and SES scale. You want to bring it in real small. So I'm going to bring it in at 10%. I'm going to import. Sometimes it takes a moment, sometimes it takes longer. This looks big, so we are definitely going to have to shorten that down. Just make it 1 by 1. Okay, it still looks like it's going to be too big. Now we can always enlarge this some more. We can always click on this and make it 3.5. Whatever, you can make your book bigger or make your work area bigger. So now I'm just going to move it up. It's still big, so I'm going to make it 0.75, 3/4 of an inch. 0.75. I'm going to put it in position. Next thing I'm going to put in something that I like to do. This is for the represent ELA. So I'm going to go back into my classroom. And lately I have been jogging. I've been trying to get into shape. So I put a runner up here. Same difference. I'm going to click on it, open this up. I'm going to open a new window. Go to the ellipsis, download. You can see it downloads here. Go back to my design. Import. Choose a file. I'm right in my downloads. Open. And I'm going to go 10% again. It's easier to work. I mean, you can leave it 100. It's going to come in big. It's going to cover everything. It's really challenging to work with. I tell my students all the time they can do what they want. They can learn from the mistakes that I've already made. So this 2 by 2. Again, I'm just going to make it 1 and 1, and it's probably going to be too big. You know what I didn't do? So I'm just going to make it 3/4 again. 0.75. 0.75. One thing I didn't do on the book, we didn't adjust the Z-axis. So we can do that on both of these. See how big it is, how tall it is. So we're just going to click on the Z, and we're going to make it 0.2. 0.2. Same thing with the runner. 0.2. And I have my 2 of my shapes. Now the final one, I want my learning environment to be peaceful. So I have a picture of Bigfoot giving the peace sign. So I'm going to grab that one. I thought it was, it's made kind of like, you know, wild. Click on that, open a new window. Again, click on that ellipsis, download. And you can see it downloaded. Go back to my drawing. I'm going to import, choose File, Bigfoot, give me the peace sign, 10%. There's my Bigfoot. Let's move him over. Oh, moving the wrong one. Sometimes if you're having a hard time determining which one to click, just roll in and you get a better fix. Make it 0.2 for the Z. I'm going to put him down toward the bottom like he's walking along. And that's going to be it. That is essentially it. Be creative, do your own thing. I'm going to try to group them all together. When you group them all together, they sort of look the same color. Let me double check. See, they didn't group, or the book didn't group in. And the reason I knew that is because it didn't change color. So I'm just going to group, pull the mouse around them together and group them. And that's it. Okay, thanks. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this helps. Raise your hand if you need help, and I can stop around and try to help you.